And welcome to Upon Further Review. I'm Josh Aubrey. Plenty to get to in this week's show. Hurricane Ian changing some things around. The Georgia Southern football game, which was scheduled for 4 o'clock on Saturday in Conway, South Carolina against Coastal Carolina, has been moved to 7 o'clock. The Eagles coming off their win 34-23 this past week against Ball State, opening up Sunbelt play with the Chanticleers. We'll have a preview of that, hear from Coach Helton and a few of the players about the upcoming matchup. As for area high school football, well, Hurricane Ian moved a few things back, and thankfully the Southeast Bulloch head coach Jared Zito was able to get their game with Islands underway on Wednesday night because schools closed Thursday and Friday, and had they not, they wouldn't have been able to play that game, and they would have had to have played that game next Monday or Tuesday, which would have been 2 games in a week. Instead, they played on Wednesday at Fred Shaver Field and were able to come out on top 34-7 in that one. We'll send you out for some highlights of that game in just a little bit. We'll also check in with Aaron Phillips, the head coach of Bulloch Academy, and Jeff Kaiser, the head coach of the Statesboro Blue Devils, and see how they're feeling about where they are right now. Thankfully for both of them, they were off on Friday on their second bye week of the season. And as for the Portal Panthers, their game that was originally scheduled for Friday ended up, regardless of the weather, they ended up getting forfeited to because the team they were scheduled to play weren't able to field enough players for the game, so now they sit at 4-2 and will be moving their homecoming matchup, which was scheduled for this Friday, back until next Friday against Montgomery County. We'll also have some high school softball as the Bulloch Academy Gators host Portal. All that and more coming up on Upon Further Review. And a reminder before we go to break, hopefully you'll never be in an accident, but if so, please give our friends at the Sullivan Law Firm a call, 912-489-8888, or online at thesullivanlawfirm.com. McCooks Pharmacy, located on Highway 80 East, is family owned and operated by Lynn and Janie McCook, as well as their son, Josh McCook. Serving the Bulloch County area since 2005, McCooks Pharmacy offers fast and friendly service where the customers come first. Vaccinations are available, including shingles, flu, pneumonia, and Tdap. Drive-through service is available with 2 drive-through windows for your convenience. McCooks Pharmacy offers free local deliveries, and new customers are always welcome. Continuing the tradition of our family caring for your family, McCooks Pharmacy, Highway 80 East. It's now time for our Athletes of the Week, brought to you by Morris Bank. Well, the Georgia Southern Eagles coming off a 34-23 victory this past week against the Ball State Cardinals, in which quarterback Kyle Van Treese threw for over 300 yards and a couple of touchdowns. The Eagles also had their first interception since their opener against Morgan State and did not turn the ball over on offense. They're going to have to do much of the same as they go up against the team that's tied for the top spot in all of college football in creating turnovers in the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. They're also one of only a few undefeated teams right now in the season. They're 4-0. The Eagles come in at 3-1. We had a chance to talk with head coach Clay Helton and a couple players about how they're doing and what they expect Saturday.
Well, I played them last year at Buffalo, so I know a little bit about them and I know what they're about. Hardworking team, great effort team. And they're confident in themselves, which is you have to be. But we're really looking forward to the opportunity to go out there and play against them. It's a bunch of guys that have played a lot of football that have proven to be successful, and it's awesome to go out there and compete with those guys. But I'm not really worried about what they're doing, or I'm not focused on their stats or anything like that. I'm focused on the Georgia Southern Eagles, and that's it, and that's all I care about. Some guys are high vocal guys. Some guys are, by example guys. And, there's a good mixture. There's a good gray area that I try to be in, because if you're too vocal and that's not who you are, then people see through that. But if you don't say anything and you're a leader on the team, then they're not going to respect you as much. So finding that gray area and that happy medium is where I try to be, and try and just instill confidence in the guys around me and tell them that, you know, I'm putting my all out there for you guys. You know, I hope that, and I hope that you guys can do the same for me.
Looking at Coastal, you know, they have a great running game with number 4 and number 2, and they're also led by a great quarterback, number 10, and he's been there for a good amount of time now. So like they have a good plan set, and they have a good culture as well. So we're just gonna go in there and keep the main thing. We want to focus on tackling and getting the ball carriers down and playing good team defense. About playing the option is everybody has to be very gaps out and also just be focused on their job. With the option, you could defend the option 100 plays correctly. Then that one time you don't, if somebody misses a gap, misses their fit, then it's a touchdown. So the main thing about playing the option is just being very gap sounding, technique sounding, focusing on your job. So that's the main thing. You know, he's a captain, so everybody feeds off his energy. Even though he wasn't playing, he was on the sideline, still being engaged, still talking to us about what we saw on the field. So he's an emotional leader and a great leader, probably one of the best teammates I've ever had. So having him on the sideline, just still being there, being engaged, was a great thing to have. So I think overall, as linebackers, we played pretty good. We could always play better though.
One of the good things that I think that we've shown, especially over these first 4 games, is the ability to balance our offense and the ability to lean on the run game when needed. We knew that would be important, whether it was the style of play a defense was running, a la drop 8, or whether it's Mother Nature that makes it a little bit harder, and you got to lean on that run game. I thought in this past game was a great example of Coach Ellis doing a really nice job of leaning on that run game and creating that balance of, you know, not only throwing it 40 times, but handing it off 40 times. And so you got to be able to have that balance, and especially with Mother Nature. So we have that ability within the system. You know, we start right from the get-go in conference play with probably the team that's playing the hottest right now in Coastal, and playing really good, solid football on all 3 phases. You know, so it's going to be a great challenge for us to go on the road again and play one of the better teams in our conference. And it's going to be about, once again, our execution against a really quality football team. It all starts with the quarterback. I think when you look at great football teams, it starts with the quarterback play, and obviously Grayson is one of the best quarterbacks not only in our conference but in the country right now. Playing at a very, very high level, does not make mistakes, has the ability not only to show elite arm strength but also has the ability to run. You know, obviously came out in the 4th quarter last week. You know, in the Georgia State game, looked like he could possibly come back in if he was needed, but we'll see how he is in the run game and see his health. But you're talking about one of the better quarterbacks there are playing right now, and one of the more efficient quarterbacks in the country. Grayson didn't play against us last year, and it just happened to be my first ball game in Paulson to be able to watch. And, you know, one of the things that you look up is all 3 of their quarterbacks that have played this year, they're all of the similar mode. They've got to lead arm talent first, so you have to defend against the pass, but they also have the ability to run the ball, whether it's the option game that they run, whether it's zone read that they run, or whether it's quarterback-driven runs. You know, Coach does a tremendous job, has a huge Bible offensively that he selects based on your tendencies and what you're doing. You know, and those quarterbacks that he signed really fit, you know, the system. So we don't have to change, you know, based on which quarterback is, because they're all very similar style of quarterback. You know, I did think we took a step forward last week, especially getting the ball down in the run game. That's going to be imperative this week. I mean, they've got 2 running backs that are absolutely exceptional and hard to get on the ground, low center of gravity, hard for one person to get them down. I think just like last week, we really overpreached the relentless effort to the ball and getting all 11 members there, you know, to be able to get these really talented running backs down. And I really liked our effort. You know, there was a lot of gang tackling where one guy was holding on for dear life, but here comes 3 or 4 more other kids. And that's what you got to have versus good players. So I thought we did take a step forward, Josh, in that area. Need to continue to grow, but obviously a lot better than we did in the week prior.
Once again, that game moved from 4 o'clock until 7 o'clock. We'll have highlights later on Saturday evening on Statesboroherald.com, interviews as well. Stay with us. High school action and high school interviews coming up next. Southeast Bulloch Coaches Show segment is brought to you in part thanks to Southeast Tire and Service. Southeast Tire and Service has been in business for 13 years, offering extensive vehicle repair and service from bumper to bumper. Come have a cup of coffee with us and let us help you with your car needs. Located at 400 Parker Avenue in Brooklyn. The Southeast Bulloch segment of our show is brought to you in part thanks to Bulloch Solutions. Visit them at bulloch.solutions to find out how they can connect you to the highest speeds for all your technology needs. Well, after Southeast Bulloch beat Islands 34-7, Coach Jared Zito said the best call he made all week was moving the game that was scheduled for Friday to Wednesday. It was the both teams' region opener, and for Southeast Bulloch, they really wanted to get this game in, especially because next week they have New Hampstead on the road, and that should be a tough one for them. They're able to start off 1-0 with a big 34-7 victory. Let's send you out for some highlights. The Southeast Bulloch Yellow Jackets in a rare Wednesday evening matchup as they opened up region play against Islands. We picked things up in the first quarter. The Sharks with the ball, but not for long. Ball on the ground, and Terry Michael will grab it up for Southeast Bulloch. The offense able to take advantage. Gage DiGiovanni stutter steps and goes 14 yards for the touchdown, and the Jackets take a 7-0 lead. The Sharks able to respond, though, after the screen pass here. Jamari Sanders will take off down the sidelines, and he goes 53 yards all the way down inside the 5. A couple plays later, and Sanders goes in for the touchdown to tie the game at 7-all. The Jacket offense quickly responds. DiGiovanni to a wide-open Colin Smith, who gets down to the 22. A couple plays later, A.J. Johnson finds a hole, and he goes in for the 12-yard score, and the Jackets take a 13-7 lead. We move ahead to the second quarter, and a big game for Damian Donaldson here with the sack. Back on offense, and DiGiovanni to Smith. He gets ahead to midfield, and then DiGiovanni rolls out, sheds some pressure, and finds Colin Jackson for a first down. This drive stalls. In comes Cole Snyder for the 42-yarder. Plenty of distance, but just a little bit off to the right. No problem, though. The defense holds, and then DiGiovanni finds Jackson across the middle, and he outruns the defense for the 52-yard touchdown. The Jackets elect to go for 2. Jackson once again, he goes in for the conversion. Southeast Bulloch on top 21-7. Donaldson really getting to know Amari Bedgood. He'd have 5 sacks in the game. Here's another sack. We go to the half with Southeast Bulloch leading 21-7. Halftime saw the crowning of Princess Lauren Erickson and the Yellow Jacket Queen, Kaylee Haas. The Jackets extend the lead to 27-7 on a 72-yard kickoff return by Jabari Nunnally. The defense once again led by Donaldson. And we go to the fourth quarter with the Jackets up by 20. In the fourth, Southeast on the move again. First, it's A.J. Johnson turning the corner and picking up 12 yards and a first down. Next, DiGiovanni to the air, a nice throw and a good grab by Jackson. Southeast would get inside the 10, but unable to punch it in. Snyder's field goal just misses wide right again. The Jackets then go on a nice drive here late in the fourth. DiGiovanni picks up 12 yards, a first down, and tack on 15 more for the personal foul on the late hit. Then they give it to A.J. Johnson. He gets all the way inside the 2. From there, they bring in Colin Jackson at quarterback in the Wildcat, and he does the rest. Here he comes. A nice victory for you and the Jackets, 34-7. And as we mentioned, next up, Southeast Bulloch will be traveling to New Hampstead. They have a few extra days to prepare for that since they played on Wednesday. That game is coming up on October 7th. Stay with us. We'll talk to some head coaches from over at Bulloch Academy in Statesboro High coming up next. Wildflower Farms, located on Old Register Road in Statesboro, is a unique rental property for those visiting the Statesboro area. Located on a beautiful 6 acres just off the beaten path, Wildflower Farms has 4 bedrooms, including a game room and full kitchen, as well as an outdoor fire pit, and comfortably sleeps 8 to 10 people. And for those who may be in town for a show or rodeo at the Ag Center, a horse B&B is coming soon with 6 stalls and plenty of room to run in the adjacent pasture. Also available for events as well, you can book through Airbnb or call 912-536-7787 for more information. Family Internal Medicine Associates of Statesboro, providing primary care for Statesboro area patients since 1998, providing complete physicals, complete sports physicals, Medicare wellness exams, full diabetes treatment, and education from lifestyle changes to oral medications to insulin pump therapy, in-house dermatology, in-house circulation tests and ultrasounds, and in-house labs. Featuring nurse practitioner Melissa Beasley, Family Internal Medicine of Statesboro can accommodate same-day or next-day appointments to serve your needs. Family Internal Medicine Associates of Statesboro, where we care.
Owning a small business is kind of a big deal. State Farm agents can help you find the right insurance coverage at the right price.
Call State Farm agent Matthew Tyson in Statesboro today.
Well, the Statesboro Blue Devils in a kind of tough spot right now. They're 1-4 on the season, but they have not played a region game. They have a bye week this week before getting into region play next week on the road at Greenbrier. Still have all their goals left for the season. We had a chance to talk with head coach Jeff Kaiser about how he feels the Blue Devils are doing right now as they reach the midway point.
What's the response been like? Kids were upbeat when we left. I mean, there was no reason for us to hammer them in here after that loss. Came down to we needed a 4th down stop, 4th and 6, and they dialed up a perfect call for what we were in defensively, and they executed, and couldn't get that stop to seal the deal. But very proud of the way the kids continue to play hard. We just we're in a little bit of a funk not being able to finish. And I think we're getting in some situations where we're playing not to lose instead of playing to win, if that makes sense. So, but nothing to do with the kids. The kids have really played hard. And, fought back in that game from a situation where I think most everybody had written us off until right there in the second half. We needed a bye week again, to get some guys back. We're a little banged up, and that'll be good to get those guys healed up over the next 2 weeks. And region play, we play in a very tough region. You're looking at 2 of the top 5 teams in 5A, and Ware and Coffee being in our region and still left on our schedule. But we feel very good about being able to compete with anyone. We've played and lost to some really good teams that have won a bunch. So, excited, looking forward to get back to work tomorrow and get back going. And, we control everything we want to do right now still. So, on paper, you look at it, we're 1-4, and everybody's disappointed in that. But we're pleased at the effort the kids have given and their eagerness to get better and continue to compete.
The Bulloch Academy segment is brought to you in part thanks to Floors Outlet of Statesboro, located on Northside Drive. Come by and visit Mo for all your floor covering needs.
Ready for fall? Us too at RJ Pope. Get ready to cheer on your favorite team in a new performance polo from Peter Millar, Southern Tide and AFCO. Ladies, we have the best brands and trending fashions. Complete your look with one of our best-selling shoe brands, Soft, On Cloud, and Free People. Shop these brands and so much more at one of our 3 locations, RJ Pope Buckhead, Downtown, and Vidalia.
Well, the Bulloch Academy Gators 3-2 on the season right now. Could very easily be 5-0. Lost a couple of close games. Their offense has been looking solid throughout the year. Their defense has been struggling a little bit, but this past week they were able to come up with a big victory over Savannah High, in which the defense did look pretty good, and they're going to need that as they have their bye week this week and then get back to action Next week against Warrenton, we had a chance to talk with head coach Aaron Phillips about how things have been going.
Time we had a bye week, was coming off a loss. It feels good, as a team-wise and a staff to come off a win, a big win. Everybody got in, and that's always a good thing. Try to get some of those young guys some time under the lights on Fridays. We told our kids all week, that we really needed to put one together. Offensively, defensively, if one's doing good, the other one's kind of letting something slip. So we were able to kind of do that both sides. As far as the upcoming weeks, we have, the next 5 games will all be challenges. Our 2 non-region opponents that we play are Briarwood and Thomas Jefferson. They're going to come in and they want to run the football. One runs the I and the T formation, and it's too tight or oversets and unbalanced, and they want to line up and just run it down your throat. And it's going to be a 4-down game on both sides of the ball. They don't want to give it to us, and we don't want to give it to them. And and then we're okay with that. If don't blink, because this one may be over with quick. We both want to run the football, so you may only be out here for about an hour. And then after that, of course, not looking down the road, but you got TJ and Frederica. All those games here are, coming up are really good opponents. And then not to mention, we go to Savannah for St. Andrews and then home here against the school down the road. We won't say their name, but the school down the road. So, yeah, these next 5 weeks are going to be really challenging for our team. I like where we're headed. We're doing some things better. And football is one of those things that if I can go back to prep and Christian, and you take 1 or 2 plays away or one call goes our way, we're 5-0 right now. It's that, and the thing is, we've led every game we played. We hadn't trailed yet. Especially going into halftime, and even into the fourth quarter, we hadn't trailed a ball game going into the fourth quarter. So, I like what we're doing. We just got to, keep on working at practice, keep getting better at the things that, the tackling in space and fitting on defense and offense. Just keep grinding, keep sharpening those teeth, and I think I like our chances. We keep telling our guys everything we want to achieve is in front of us. It's still right there for us to go take, and that's what we're working for, and we just remind them of that every day, and hopefully it sinks in a little bit.
And as we mentioned at the top of the show, the Portal Panthers game that was scheduled for Friday ended up being a forfeit. They're now 4-2 on the season. They've moved their homecoming game that was scheduled for this week to next week. They'll be hosting Montgomery County 7:30 at the Portal Athletic Complex. Speaking of Portal, this Portal softball team came into Statesboro to play Bulloch Academy on Tuesday. Let's send you out for some highlights of that one. The Bulloch Academy Gators with a non-region matchup Tuesday as they host the Portal Panthers. On the mound for the Panthers, Riley Lamb in control here with the strikeout. Sydney Priest looking good for the first few innings for the Gators. Lamb continues to pour it on, keeping Bulloch Academy hitless. Meanwhile, up 1-0. She'll help her own cause. She drives this one down the right field line. That will bring in Emma Yates. And it's a 2-0 lead. Next, the bunt by Josie Moats. She'll easily beat it at first, and that brings home another run, and it's 3-0. More from the Panthers. Millie Scarborough drives this one deep to left center. Off the fence for a double. That brings in another run, and it's 4-0. Riley Lamb back at it in the 6th. The RBI single through into left. Portal up 5-0. Blair Brandon then drives this one into the left field corner, bringing home another run, and it's 6-0. Lamb getting it done on the mound. She'd finish with 8 strikeouts, and then the finishing touch coming from Emma Yates. This one to right center will one hop over the fence. Appeared to be a home run at first, but this one ruled a ground rule double, and Portal wins 7-0. And that'll wrap things up for now. We thank you for joining us. Hope to see you again next week.